We gotta walk it out.
Ugly ass bitch.
Come on.
While others argued that the court's decision was reasonable, given the publicized chaos surrounding her lifestyle. Analysts noted that in modern celebrity custody cases, online behavior and media presence can inadvertently influence legal outcomes, even though judges focus on documented facts. Social media posts often reveal patterns of behavior, emotional responses, and communication styles that cannot be ignored. In Chrisean's case, her candid and sometimes unfiltered online presence was reportedly referenced during proceedings, not to punish her, but to assess consistency and decision-making. Another critical point highlighted during post-court discussions was the importance of co-parenting strategies. Courts increasingly encourage collaborative approaches, especially when children are involved. Marsh's team apparently presented evidence of attempts to coordinate schedules, healthcare decisions, and education planning, arguing that these structures would minimize conflict. Chrisean's team countered with evidence of her day-to-day involvement, her financial support, and her commitment to providing a stable environment. While both arguments had merit, the judge appeared to favor a compromise that emphasized shared responsibilities, structured oversight, and predictability factors that can sometimes outweigh passion or intent. The ruling also sparked discussion about the psychological impact on Chrisean Jr. Experts on child development note that children exposed to public feuds, erratic schedules, and social media scrutiny can experience stress and confusion. By emphasizing structured routines and clear boundaries, the court aimed to protect the child's stability, even if it meant limiting Chrisean's immediate autonomy. This aspect of the decision resonated with some fans, who recognize that celebrity custody battles are rarely about winning or losing. They are about ensuring safety, consistency, and emotional well-being for the child. Chrisean supporters, however, remain vocal. Many argued that the ruling failed to consider her emotional connection and ability to respond quickly to her child's needs. Online communities dissected every detail, analyzing previous live streams, interviews, and social media posts for evidence supporting her case. In many ways, the ruling intensified scrutiny rather than alleviating tension, highlighting the double-edged sword of being a public figure involved in family law. Meanwhile, Marsh's camp used the ruling to reinforce the narrative of structured caregiving. According to sources, Marsh expressed relief that the court recognized the need for predictable schedules and oversight, framing the outcome as a step toward minimizing conflict. This public messaging is significant, as legal battles in the celebrity sphere often extend beyond the courtroom. Managing public perception, maintaining credibility, and demonstrating compliance with rulings can all influence future proceedings and negotiations. The long-term impact of the decision remains to be seen. Family court cases often involve follow-ups, modifications, and additional hearings, particularly when circumstances evolve or new evidence emerges. Chrisean's team may focus on documenting her adherence to the court's mandates, emphasizing her role in providing care and mitigating the effect of any future public controversies. Likewise, Marsh will likely continue to present structured plans and evidence of stability, reinforcing the court's initial concerns. The coming months may be as critical as the courtroom proceedings themselves, as both parties navigate compliance, co-parenting, and public scrutiny. Ultimately, the case serves as a stark reminder that celebrity status does not guarantee favorable outcomes in family court. Emotional appeals, passion, and social media support cannot replace documentation, structure, and consistent routines. For Chrisean, the loss may be a setback, but it is also an opportunity to recalibrate strategies, demonstrate consistency, and build a stronger case for the future. Fans, Meanwhile, we'll continue to follow every development closely, parsing public statements and social media activity for insight into what comes next in this high-profile custody saga. In conclusion, the ruling represents a turning point. Chrisean's fight over Chrisean Jr. didn't end with total defeat, but it certainly reshaped the landscape. With structured oversight now in place, the focus shifts to cooperation, adherence to schedules, and minimizing conflict. Both parents face the challenge of balancing public perception with private responsibilities, navigating legal mandates while maintaining emotional connections with their child. In the world of celebrity custody battles, this is a pivotal moment, one that will define Chrisean's approach moving forward and influence public opinion for months, if not years to come, as the dust settled from the courtroom drama. The focus shifted from the ruling itself to the aftermath and what it means for Chrisean Rock, Marsh, and most importantly, Chrisean Jr. While the verdict did not completely strip Chrisean of her parental role, it imposed structured oversight and shared responsibilities that could change the daily dynamics she's used to. For someone accustomed to living life on her own terms and broadcasting it openly, this new framework represents a major adjustment. Legal experts note that high-profile custody cases often become as much about public image as about the actual legal outcomes. For Chrisean, every social media post, live stream, and interview could potentially be scrutinized under the lens of court expectations. The ruling emphasized stability and predictability, which means that public feuds, drama, or chaotic online behavior could be interpreted as detrimental to the child's well-being. In other words, what happens online now carries weight in real life. A lesson many celebrity parents learn the hard way. The emotional impact on Chrisean Jr. is another critical aspect. Experts stress that children exposed to prolonged conflict, especially public conflict, can experience stress, confusion, or divided loyalties. By emphasizing structured schedules and clearer boundaries, the court aimed to provide a more stable environment for the child. While this may limit Chrisean's autonomy in certain areas, it is designed to reduce exposure to tension and help the child feel secure. Sources suggest that both parties are now under pressure to model cooperation and consistency, a challenge given the history of heated disputes. Social media reactions remained intense following the verdict. Fans rallied around Chrisean, posting messages of support, offering advice, and dissecting every available detail from the courtroom. Critics, on the other hand, emphasized that the ruling reinforced the importance of stability and oversight, arguing that the court's decision was ultimately in the child's best interest. This divide reflects a larger pattern seen in celebrity custody cases. Public opinion often becomes its own battlefield, adding layers of stress and pressure on both parents moving forward. Both Chrisean and Marsh face the challenge of adapting to the court-mandated structure. Compliance will be key, and both sides will likely need to maintain meticulous records of schedules, communication, and interactions with the child. Any future modifications to the ruling will depend on documented behavior, adherence to agreements, and demonstrated ability to provide a consistent environment. For Chrisean, this may require a significant shift in how she manages her personal brand and public persona, balancing her career and social media presence with her legal responsibilities. Despite the setback, Chrisean's story is far from over. Family court rulings can evolve, especially if parents demonstrate cooperation, improvement, or significant life changes. Her team may focus on documenting her compliance, reinforcing her role as a dedicated parent, and minimizing public disputes to strengthen her position in potential future proceedings. Meanwhile, Marsh will continue to advocate for structured routines and predictability, ensuring that the court's concerns are addressed and that the child's well-being remains a priority in the end. The case highlights the complex intersection of celebrity culture, social media, and family law. Popularity, public opinion, and online influence do not guarantee favorable legal outcomes. Courts prioritize stability, documentation, and evidence-based assessments of parenting capabilities. Chrisean's loss is a reminder that even high-profile figures must navigate these systems with care, patience, and strategy. This chapter, while challenging, could serve as a turning point. By embracing the court's framework, focusing on stability, and demonstrating consistent care, Chrisean has the opportunity to rebuild her approach and potentially reshape future rulings. For Marsh, the decision validates the need for structured parenting and oversight. But both parties must now navigate this new reality responsibly. Most importantly, Chrisean Jr. stands at the center of it all, and the court's ultimate goal remains ensuring his safety, stability, and emotional well-being above all else. The drama between Chrisean Rock and Marsh over Chrisean Jr. is far from over, and fans are watching closely as every new development unfolds. This ruling may have been a shock, but it's only one chapter in a long story that involves custody, responsibility, and the best interests of a child caught in the middle. If you've been following the saga, now is the time to stay informed, because future hearings, modifications, and updates are inevitable. Don't miss a moment of this high-profile legal battle. Subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and join the conversation as we bring you the latest updates, courtroom insights, behind-the-scenes details you won't see anywhere else. The drama surrounding Chrisean Rock has taken another explosive turn, and this time it's unfolding inside the courtroom. What started as a heated dispute with Marsh over young Chrisean Jr. has now spiraled into a legal battle that fans never saw coming. Emotions were high, accusations flew, and both sides came prepared to fight for their version of the truth. But when the judge finally delivered the ruling, the outcome left supporters stunned. Instead of walking away victorious, Chrisean was hit with a shocking loss that could change everything moving forward. Now, questions are swirling about what really happened behind those courtroom doors. The courtroom battle between Chrisean Rock and Marsh didn't erupt overnight. For weeks, tension had been building behind the scenes, spilling onto social media in cryptic posts, emotional live streams, and subtle jabs that fans quickly dissected. What started as disagreements over parenting decisions concerning Chrisean Jr. slowly transformed into something much bigger, a full-blown legal dispute that forced both sides to present their claims before a judge. Supporters on both ends believe they knew the truth, but court is a different arena. In a courtroom, opinions don't matter, evidence does. Sources close to the situation say the conflict centered around custody structure, decision-making authority, and concerns about stability. Marsh reportedly argued that consistency and structure were necessary for the child's well-being. Presenting documentation meant to demonstrate instability in scheduling and living arrangements. Meanwhile, Chrisean maintained that she has always been the primary caregiver and that attempts to challenge her authority were unfair and exaggerated. She reportedly felt blindsided by how far the dispute escalated, especially since much of their personal conflict had previously played out online rather than through attorneys. When proceedings began, the atmosphere inside the courtroom was tense. Observers described both sides as visibly emotional. Chrisean, known for her bold personality and unfiltered demeanor, appeared determined but serious, a different tone from her usual social media presence. Marsh, on the other hand, reportedly leaned heavily on legal counsel, presenting arguments in a structured, methodical way. The contrast in approaches was noticeable. While Chrisean's supporters believed her passion would carry weight, legal analysts often stress that family court decisions hinge on documentation, consistency, and provable stability. One of the pivotal moments reportedly came when the discussion shifted to lifestyle and environment. Questions were raised about travel schedules, public exposure, and the level of chaos surrounding high-profile online feuds. While celebrity status isn't automatically a disadvantage, the court's priority is always the best interest of the child. Attorneys pressed on whether constant media attention and ongoing public disputes created unnecessary stress. Chrisean's team countered that she provides financial security, resources, and direct maternal involvement, factors that also matter heavily in custody considerations. Another layer of the dispute reportedly involved past incidents that resurfaced during testimony. Legal battles often reopen old chapters, and in this case, Prior legal troubles and public controversies were brought up for context, while none of it was necessarily new information to fans who have followed her journey. Seeing it reframed in a courtroom setting gave it different weight. In social media culture, controversies trend and fade quickly. In court, however, they become part of an official record. Observers say the judge appeared particularly focused on structured schooling plans, healthcare coordination, and long-term stability. Parenting plans were scrutinized in detail. Who would make educational decisions? How would visitation be structured? What safeguards would be in place to minimize conflict? These practical considerations often outweigh emotional appeals. No matter how heartfelt, as testimony continued, it became clear that this wasn't just about personal disagreements. It was about credibility. Courts evaluate which parent can demonstrate consistent follow-through. Text messages, documented schedules, prior agreements, all of it reportedly entered discussion. Even social media posts were allegedly referenced to highlight patterns of communication and conflict escalation. In today's digital age, online behavior can easily become courtroom evidence for Chrisean. This moment represented more than a legal dispute. It was about public perception. She has built a brand around resilience, raw honesty, and independence. Many of her fans view her as someone who overcame obstacles and refuses to be silenced. That narrative, however, doesn't always align neatly with legal standards. Judges aren't swayed by popularity. They're persuaded by documentation and stability. Marsh's legal strategy appeared centered on emphasizing predictability and long-term planning. Reports suggest that detailed schedules and structured proposals were presented, outlining how responsibilities would be shared and how conflict would be minimized moving forward. Whether or not fans agreed with his position, the preparation reportedly made an impression. As closing arguments approached, tension reportedly reached its peak. Both sides reiterated their commitment to Chrisean Jr.'s well-being. Emotions ran high, but the judge's questions remained focused and direct. Family court rulings can be complex, and sometimes decisions involve partial victories rather than total wins. Still, insiders say the final ruling landed harder on Chrisean than many expected. When the judge delivered the decision, it reportedly granted Marsh expanded rights and implemented stricter structural guidelines than Chrisean's team had anticipated. While it may not have been a complete loss of custody, the ruling signaled that the court wanted increased oversight and clearer boundaries. For Chrisean, that outcome felt like a major setback. Outside the courthouse, reactions were immediate. Supporters expressed shock, arguing that the ruling didn't fully reflect her dedication as a mother. Critics, however, claimed the outcome underscored the importance of stability over spectacle. Social media erupted with commentary, breakdown videos, and heated debates. In high-profile custody disputes, public opinion often divides sharply. And this situation was no different. What makes this case particularly impactful is how it highlights the collision between celebrity, culture, and family law. Living life publicly brings influence and opportunity, but it also invites scrutiny. Every live stream, every argument, every impulsive post can later be reframed under a legal microscope. That reality became evident as courtroom discussions reportedly referenced online behavior to assess maturity and conflict management. For now, the focus shifts to what comes next. Court rulings aren't necessarily final chapters. Appeals, modifications, and future hearings remain possible depending on compliance and changing circumstances. Legal experts often note that family court decisions can evolve if parents demonstrate improvement, cooperation, or significant life changes. Chrisean's journey has always been marked by resilience. Whether this ruling becomes a temporary obstacle or a long-term turning point depends on how both parties respond moving forward. For Marsh, the decision represents validation of his concerns. For Chrisean, it may serve as motivation to tighten structure, reduce public conflict, and demonstrate consistency in ways that align with the court's expectations. What's undeniable is that this courtroom chapter has shifted the narrative. What once unfolded primarily through social media now carries legal weight and formal consequences, and as both sides adjust to the ruling. The spotlight remains intense because in situations involving high-profile figures and children, the public rarely looks away for long after the initial courtroom shock of Chrisean Rock's loss. The fallout began immediately, both in legal circles and across social media. The ruling wasn't just a personal defeat, it set a precedent in the ongoing custody battle with Marsh and reshaped public perception of the situation. Fans who have been closely following every livestream post and cryptic message were left debating the implications, while legal analysts started dissecting the nuances of the judge's decision. In family court cases involving high-profile figures, every detail matters. And this one was no exception. Reports indicate that the ruling granted Marsh increased custodial rights, meaning Chrisean's influence over certain day-to-day decisions was curtailed, while she may still retain primary custody in a technical sense. The court emphasized the need for structured routines, consistent schedules, and clear communication channels between both parties. Insiders claim the judge's concern wasn't about favoritism, but about establishing predictability for Chrisean Jr.'s well-being. This approach is standard in family law, especially when disputes become public and emotions run high. Chrisean's legal team reportedly considered appealing the ruling, but experts caution that success in family court appeals is often limited unless new evidence emerges. Appeals rarely overturn decisions entirely, they usually modify specific aspects or request reconsideration based on overlooked information. For Chrisean, the path forward may involve demonstrating cooperation, stability, and willingness to adhere to the structured plan outlined by the court. The next few months could be crucial in reshaping both the legal outcome and public opinion. Social media, meanwhile, exploded with reactions. Fans took sides immediately. Some condemned the ruling, claiming it didn't acknowledge Chrisean's dedication as a mother.